What's up, world? This is Candid Culture. Big Lie here, and we finna get into it. So, I wanted to talk about femininity. I feel like it's a positive force that is needed if it's in the divine operation. There is a such thing as toxic feminine energy, but we're gonna start off with the divine feminine energy and what it's like to operate in that and be a balance towards the opposite, which is masculine energy. Divine masculine energy. So, I'm gonna bust out a few notes just to better break it down for you. So divine energy, it's everything that is soft. To me, it's everything that's soft but so strong. It's just like water. It's fluid, but it can be a powerful thing, right? So it's not to be underestimated. It can come off as the weaker vessel, but not so much as that. It's like I can break it down. It can be very powerful, and it's much needed in this world. So healthy feminine energy is nurturing, receptive, creative, expressive, and intuitive. Feminine energy associations are yin energy, internally focused, the right brain, winter, which is cold. That I don't know where that came from, but it's just on here. The nighttime, the moon, death. I don't know where that came from. It's just on here. Heart, rule sacral heart, and the third eye chakras. Unhealthy feminine energy is codependent. We can talk about that too because I can't take it. But being needy, insecure, over emotional, and manipulative. So, I mean, let's get into it. So,
I got a question. So, with all those bullet points you stated that define divine feminine, can we talk about
the masculine?
how do what that got to do with the feminist movement that goes on today?
I think the feminist movement, I'm not a feminist, so I'm not deep on that level. And it started some time ago. We had to kind of break down where it came from. Now, I feel like a feminist is like a woman trying to operate in a hell of a lot of masculine energy. It's a no for me. I feel like there's polarity in divine masculine and divine feminine. So you got to play your role and know how to play it, like the players say, you know what I'm saying. Play your role and play it good. So operate in your energy. You can't do things that the masculine do unless you want to be masculine. Now, we can go back to gender roles. I don't really want to get into all of that, but what I'm saying is operate in your energy. And if the world is kind of on a traditional thing, like men operate this way, women operate that way, it's going to create a lot of ruckus. And this is what happened when we had like the women's suffrage and the white women got mad because black men were able to vote. And these color sister girls, they were not able to vote. So they said to hell with trying to help the Negroes. They ain't want to do that anymore. So they started the feminist movement. So this is when women started working outside of home, not doing like nurturing the home and being homemakers. They started doing jobs, like busting themselves, but they weren't paid equally.
What's that symbol for feminism?
What do you mean?
You know that symbol for feminism? That masculine white lady with the bandana with a
arm like Rosie the Riveter. She's like this. She got a little bandana, whatever.
So how? I'm asking you a question again. That's cool, right? So, which one dominates in today's time, feminism or divine femininity?
I feel like
actually you can't chime in and listening to.
They're on like a feminine wave, not the feminine wave, the feminist wave. Because even Beyonce, she's a hell of a she operates in feminine energy, but she's real like crazy about the whole feminist thing and wanting to be an equal, but she know that can only go so far. Like, we're equal, but we're polarities. Like, I can be the best woman I know how. You can't. It's some things that I can do. It has just as much power on my side when I'm operating as you operating in your side and your masculinity. Some things that I will never be able to do as a woman, and you got to understand that and just flow with it. Like, we're equals in opposite directions, if that makes sense. So for it to kind of work, just like you have the North Pole and the South Pole, the polarities, it keeps everything balanced, right?
I think it goes back to balance.
Right.
Like, you need, in a relationship, you have this outgoing person, and then you have this person that's like an introvert.
Right.
Like, both balance each other out. And so I think it kind of goes back to the masculine and the femininity. It's a balance, and I think we actually depend on each other, but in today's time it's more of us going against each other, like men against women, women against men. And so we should actually kind of, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but just serve each other. Like, it's a serve each other kind of attitude, and I think that brings balance.
Because there's some stuff is just getting out of hand, like with the whole feminism thing. Like, I don't want to race up against what used to be Bobby Lee, and now she want to call herself Bobisha, and she want to race against me. Like, I'm going to have to take hella steroids to keep up, because your ass don't know how to be a sore loser. Like, you need to be over there competing with the men, because naturally, you are a man. You're going to have more testosterone. You're going to be stronger. Now, there are some anomalies where women can be stronger than men, but naturally, it's just a no-go, because you feel like you want to be a woman, but you was born a man. So, of course, you're going to outrun or outswim or this and that and the third, because naturally,
the genetics of it is
different. The genetics,
it's
right?
Different.
So, it's some stuff that just don't need to be balanced out. Like, nah. But I get what they're coming from with the economics, like the economy. Like, if we're doing the same job and I have just as much education or whatever the case may be, or I'm busting my ass, just
be getting paid the same.
Right.
I agree.
Right.
I got a little pushback about that a little bit. Let's just keep it real. When it comes to like physical labor and stuff like that, man, men do a better job in that department.
They do a better job, but there's women that's keeping up. So if you feel like you want to wear them shoes and your ass can keep up, pay that person
what happened
just
when
the
a back?
same.
What happened when a back blow out at 30?
That's her business. But if she did the job and was able to keep up, why not pay her the same? Because we're not living in the era where men are taking care of the whole home. Like, it's like, if I gotta go to work and bust my ass or work just like you work, and you want me to pay half of whatever, like, it should be equal. That's more money coming in the house for us both.
So I got a question.
Not to say that
should because you know the feminist movement is a more independent movement. So do independence top codependency? Don't the masculine and feminine supposed to coexist and codepend on each other? Intradependency, if we could say that word too.
So codependency, I think, is unhealthy. That's why I was on the toxic trait. So we got to find another word.
What about intradependency?
Yeah, I like that, because it's on a healthy level. Like, I need you, you need me.
Depending on each other.
Right, but not solely like you are my happiness. That kind of stuff, it gets crazy. Like, you have to be you have to be responsible for self, take care of self, and we gonna take care of each other. There has to be some kind of balance. So y'all know how I feel. I need to get a shirt that say balance is life, because that's what it's all about.
It
like,
really
balance.
is.
Like,
it really is. Balance your feelings. And to balance, there has to be communication. So everything, I think, ties into relationships, whether it be intimate relationships or just, friendships. Like, there has to be a balance there. And so back to what you said about a man doing a woman's job or a woman's doing a man's job, I think women can naturally move quicker in their minds. Like, the man may be able, for instance, if you're working in a warehouse, a woman's gonna be like, okay, he can move that there, and get it done quickly. But a man, because they're more physical, it's going to take them longer to move this here. Whereas a woman, she's already got it figured out in her mind how you could have moved that easily.
But so both need each other.
I think it goes back to man's
not to say that y'all are. No, that don't take it like that.
I didn't.
Okay. I think men's strength it's more like outward strength, whereas women's strength is more inward. Like it's more thought process. Mm-hmm. It's more
physical strength and mental strength.
Correct.
No. Hold up.
I mean, that's how
it's more expressive. It's more expressive.
It's supposed to be emotional strength and spiritual strength. Intellect, nah. Most women don't got no intellectual consistency
the emotional
at all. Because exactly, they're gonna go back to being a woman.
Some women that
we're not saying exceptions to the rule.
Okay.
Generally speaking, women are emotional. So intellect goes out the door unless you're emotionally intelligent. But still, at the end of the day, you still gonna filter your shit through emotions.
Okay, so can I use an example? Like, say for instance, things don't work. Like, it could be if a man. Because men can operate more so in their feminine than they do in their masculine. This is true. And if you got two feminine persons and both of their ass emotional and nobody thinking with logic, somebody's going to be uncomfortable because they're going to have to operate outside of their
that's
natural...
That's when the women going to take over.
No, that's... One person is going to have to be the masculine and they don't like being that.
Every day.
I don't like having to operate and
but if you
be logic when I'm supposed to be like, can I just be a woman? Like,
if you dealing with a feminine man,
and it don't have to be a man. I'm just saying, it's like the energy. They can have an energy. It could be a man, a woman, whatever. If that's how some women get around each other and they just like, it's just too much. Mm-hmm. Like, woo. You have to have balance. Like, you're gonna have. Some people just be toxic feminine energy or just operating in the masculine. That's good. It's going to be balanced. Like, one person is going to be emotional, the other person is going to be thinking with logic, so y'all just kind of gel. There's balance in the friendship or whatever the case it may be in the relationship. That's why I was just like, there have to be polarities. Like, toss the gender out. Just think of it as an energy.
That's a law. You know that, right?
Huh?
You know that's a universal law of gender. What? You can't really toss it out.
You can't, but I just try to focus on the energy because you could have a man, and if he's operating more so in the feminine energy, like, it's gonna be too much for me. Like, I'm not gonna naturally be drawn to you because I'm just like, you wear me out. I have to operate in my masculine energy and that's not what I want to do unless you're just a masculine energy type of gal. And there's nothing wrong with that. But go find her, because it ain't me. That's just the rule to it for me. I'm just saying what works for me. I'm not saying that this is the end all be all. Everybody has their own viewpoints about it. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you real quiet.
Alright, let me read off some characteristics of divine masculine. Since you did the divine feminine, protection, discipline, authority, guidance, resilience, maturity, responsibility, leadership, logic, action, stoic, relentless, confident, committed, and willful. Damn.
Well, see, I think some of those apply to women too.
Right.
Like, I hate putting labels on things. Like,
should.
I really hate putting labels on things because a woman can be just as strong as a man. And sometimes I think women naturally adapt to their situation. They naturally adapt to environments. Or sometimes they know that this is an environment that I'm not going to mesh with. I'm not going. Like, I'm not going to this event because this is just I'm picking up too many energies. So I really think that when you put labels on it, it complicates things because there's so many attributes that I think a woman can have that come from a man. Like, if you were raised by your father, you're gonna naturally be more masculine, I think.
No.
Or if a boy or a child
on how your father raised you.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm just saying
it depends
in
on if he
general.
was toxic masculinity, because that's the thing. Like, a lot of us are broken, running around broken.
True.
And what is portrayed as masculine, it don't be the healthiest thing. Like, I can go over like the healthy and the masculine energy association, and then you have your unhealthy masculine energy. So it's just like the polarity of feminine energy, right? So if you're around like a more masculine energy, it's going to bring out your femininity. It's not going to be an issue. Like, it's going to be a balance. But if you are around someone and they're in feminine energy, or they have a toxic masculinity, it's just not healthy.
Hold up. Alright. If a woman go around a man she feel protected by,
You're
a man
supposed to feel.
somebody who have discipline, authority, shows leadership, what woman is not going to get into her femininity, her divine femininity, when a man exudes that?
But that's what I'm saying. Not all do.
Right. Like, I think it goes back to the woman.
'Cause
And
like
it
you
goes
did-
back to their experience growing up. So, if that energy, for instance, if you were in like a household where it was abusive, or you were in a household where it was toxic, that's going to naturally make you fall back. Like, that's not going to attract you because you're scared of that.
Either that, or
I mean,
they're gonna become hard. Like,
Right.
women,
You put
like,
up a
I'm gonna
defense
do it
mechanism.
myself. Like,
Right.
you gotta work. Like, you
That
have to
man-
become
that
King
man
Kong,
is simply not
and
gonna-
that's not a healthy place for a woman to be. I don't think it's a survival of the fittest type of thing. But that's where I went back to when I was just saying, like, some guys, your mom might have had to be all that because she didn't have the proper man in her life, or the proper energy in her life for it to be balanced. And you seen her do all these things that she probably shouldn't have to did on her own.
Let me ask you a question.
So-
Let me cut you real quick. Is it her duty to make sure you have that balance?
It's each person individually. That's your
You
responsibility.
got a
to
child.
have
If
balance
you got a child,
she's gonna do what she gotta do.
hold up. You got a child, right? Say I'm a single mother, right? Raising. Let's just say specifically or something.
But no one signs up for that.
Yes, you do. You know why? You know why? Because y'all choose who y'all let between y'all legs. So you
We
do.
But there's
You said,
there's
there's no choice with that?
Decepticons.
No, I'm
Have
not
you
saying
been
that.
deceived before?
I was saying that exactly.
Is
There's
that
Decepticons.
who fault that is then? If you've been deceived, would you hold up your accountability on your head?
You
right
have to be
here
accountable,
and
but
say,
you
"I've been
can't
deceived"?
control the other person. Like, men
Exactly.
play games too, just
But
like
not even a playing
women
game
can't act
kind of
dumb
thing.
all the
Some-
time. Like, sometimes you kind of blow off the red flags. Sometimes, but that's not
Hey,
always the case.
You said a key point. You blew off the red flags.
But
Sometimes. That's not all the
people-
time.
Sometimes
That
people-
can cost you.
It can.
sometimes people become different. Like I said before when we were having a conversation, you are not the same person who you are at 20 is not going to be the same person you are at 30. So I can be in love with you, whether married or just in just this intimate relationship, exclusive relationship. I can be in love with you and I'm with you. Okay, we have a child together. We've been together for 10 years, but 10 more years go by and you're this totally different person. So am I to blame myself because you're
Yes.
different? How?
Yes.
How so?
Yes.
How so?
Easy.
Explain,
You
elaborate.
avoided the red flags. Y'all act like people
That's
just
red.
change out of nowhere. You get signs and
Look,
symptoms
look.
before you get sick.
Don't go there, because in my defense, I had a post on
You get
Facebook.
signs and
But
symptoms
you
before
grow
get sick.
apart. Sometimes you
It-
grow apart from someone. Like, it's not anyone's fault. It's just I've evolved to this different person. You've evolved to this different person. This is not working for me anymore. And so I don't think the woman or the man is the fault for that.
Right.
Accountability is
Accountability,
killing
yes,
us.
but what
It is.
I think
To a
it's
certain
acknowledging what piece of accountability you hold in that scenario.
I feel a strong way about how I feel about things, and he does too. Just like y'all are alike in a lot of ways.
No, I'm saying
Too.
what's
So-
bad about that?
It's nothing bad, but I don't like when people I feel like you're, and this is how I feel, and I may be wrong, but I feel like you're singling yourself out, and that's never my energy. You're welcome.
I don't think it's singling out.
I'm in sync with you. No, and you may not feel it, and I apologize if you don't feel that. But I'm in sync with every person.
It's an ask and answer. Like, I understand that you feel that I feel that way, but it's an ask and answer. You know, if I ask Teddy a question about, hey, I'm feeling like you're, at the end of the day, whatever his response is whatever his response is. So that's the reason why I said we just gotta go to the next topic.
Yeah. So
I get what you're saying though.
Well, guess what? Let's make it good for y'all. Cause I could talk about any fucking thing.
Me too.
So let's make it good for y'all.
I feel
so we can all participate.
And I respect the way
so that way,
you feel.
So that way it be what it is. You feel me? I think last week you got off good.
Yeah, I think
you feel what I'm saying?
I just think you're filming.
No, don't film.
I just think this is my thing. I think you're gonna have your topics where you can be very like in tune with it. Like you just know it like the back of your hand. You're passionate about it. You can go for it.
Yes.
And then you have your topics where it's like, okay, I have my point of view, but I don't really know too much about it. But this is how I feel about it. And I think we just all have to respect that, and
it's all welcome.
And find where you fit into the picture.
We want everybody can contribute. We don't want nobody to be shut out at all.
Yeah, no, that's not the thing.
So if you got 2 cents to contribute that 2 cents.
Isms is
for the sake of the show. For the sake of the show, if it's 2 cents, contribute for the sake of the show. When we get on some shit you can get off on. I guarantee y'all we gonna let y'all ride. Everybody gonna ride now. So that's just do it like that. So that, like you say, we can move on to the next subject because we do want everybody to talk or get it in, get it off their chest. Let's get it. Next subject.
What was the next subject again?
Sisterhood. So
No. Let's do something pop. Let's do something pop where everybody knows something about something. We could do yay.
No.
We could do Kyrie Irving. We could do he on his shit too. He on his shit. He been on his shit too. I'm backing him up too. We could do what's up popular culture. I know y'all got some popular culture shit. We could do that too. I got
Sisterhood.
No,
because that would have flowed.
It does.
It would
go back to your quote.
Right. Pulling down my Facebook timeline. Don't mind me because I'm old school. I be on Facebook. I just got back on Facebook, but it was a saying that it was just like we really have a whole new era of men that don't want to protect and provide. And I was like, wait a minute. I said this could be the case. But I also feel that there has been a lack of accountability on the women's behalf, which in turn has set the bar low and has allowed men to operate in this low vibration. It is up to us as women to communicate our expectations from the men we allow to be present in our lives. Okay? So I feel like we should hold each other accountable in a sisterhood, and if you are a woman, there should be like a sisterhood, whether you want to be in or not. And part of that calls for us to hold each other accountable. Like, sis, you can't blame that all on him because you got P power, right? You got the P power, right? Everybody know what the P power is, right?
Nah, explain that.
It's how your ass
So
got
do you think
you got the P power. But sisterhood for me is
Freaky Jesus.
any kind of hood is about accountability, and the way I operated into it is like you have to have accountability for there to be balance in any kind of sisterhood. Like if you are someone that are real in my life, you got to call me out on my shortcomings. Like, it's not all glitter and gold. It's like getting down to nitty gritty because this is going to bring balance to your life. I got to call you out when, I don't know about that, sis. Like, you got to be real. You want people that's around you that are going to keep you grounded and want better in your life. And that's why it's important to have someone to understand you as a woman, but also be real with you. It's not the hey sis.
So how would you define sisterhood?
Mm,
And is it different from
Girl code.
No, but is it different from years ago to what it is now? Like, is there a comparison, or is it there?
What was it? Hold on. What was it years ago?
Yeah, because I
feel like
That's
it
what I'm
was.
asking her. So,
I feel like it was really tight back in the day
Mhm.
because we didn't really have. We were, especially as black women, you're a double minority. If you pick up what I'm putting down in the United States, where we have been oppressed, whatever the case may be. So you needed that to kind of get along, like to get ahead in life. Oftentimes, your sis kind of understood where you were coming from because you were a woman. They understood womanhood, and then they understood what it's like to be a black woman, and they just kind of leaned on each other.
So that
Nowadays, it's this competitive thing. Like, I don't know, like, not all women operate in that, because I'm kind of far on the left and I get treated as like I'm some kind of weird person, because I feel like sisterhood is everything for me. Just like the bros, they gonna look out for bros.
So, but are we talking sisterhood or are we talking community? Because I feel like it's very different. Like, sisterhood for me is knowing that, okay, I haven't talked to you in months, but when I talk to you, we picking up right where we left off.
Yes.
Or I know when something is wrong with you. Like, you're smiling, but I know something's not right. Something is wrong. And so I feel like community, or just women in community, is more like kind of what you explained, being against each other. It's very just surface. It's on the surface. Whereas sisterhood, I think, is deep rooted, and I think is more of like your tribe. Like,
right.
you're naturally going to connect with this person, and beyond that, it just goes from years and years and years.
Right.
And so you can have like relationships. That person is there through your relationships, wherever you are in your life, they're there for you, whether they're actually present or whether, I haven't talked to you in months, but hey, how you doing? I know what you need, that kind of thing. So
that balance.
And I think it kind of is, I see the same thing you both are saying too, because I think with men and with women, I think that when women find themselves in a relationship, especially if they've already experienced some level of insecurity, and they become attached to that person, most of the time, in most experiences, toxic. I think that people feel this need to isolate themselves. Sometimes not even the person who's like trying to keep you away from people. Sometimes it's just you feeling like, I need to become everything for this person. I've seen dudes do it with other dudes, and I think that the disadvantage of that is that a large part of the time, even if the person is good for you, you need support from everybody. You need people to be able to offer outside opinion. But on the flip side, one thing I do feel like is specific just to women is judgment. I think that sometimes women run away from other women, or they do that cutoff because they feel like comments are always, like, I come from families full of straight women. I have a sister, mom, cousins, all them aunties, and when we can be harsh on one another, men have more of like a chill kind of like, all right, whatever. Women, sometimes we're just like, we feel the need to lay it in thick sometimes, and it can be very, especially if a woman is experiencing something that's so extreme, like a devastating relationship, loss, whatever case may be. Sometimes it just has to be more physical and empathetic than verbal, because verbal sometimes is also like, especially if you've already been through it. Like, if my sister going through something, my friend going through something, I've been through that, then sometimes you just want to lay it in. You just like, girl, get out of it. Figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Because you get it. You're like, by the time you get out of it, you're going to feel so good because I literally just went through this. But at the same time, we all know that's not going to work. It's a very ineffective practice, and I think that's why most women tend to shun their friends when they're going through something specifically like that.
Brotherhood. We go hard as fuck on each other. Like, hard. Like, don't give a fuck about your feelings. Don't care how it come off. She a hoe. Leave her alone, bro. We do shit like that. We don't give a fuck. We put it all on the table.
I was just about to say.
Look, men are naturally competitive anyway. So the competitive spirit of a man is that's just how we are. But guess what? A true brotherhood. Look, we letting their ass know, cuz. That ain't it, bro. on anything in life. If you take care of your kids, nigga, what you doing? What the fuck?
Unhealthy brotherhood, because they got.
We definitely gonna let these know.
We gonna let a nigga. I said brotherhood. I ain't say malehood. I said brotherhood. Brothers.
But I think that can be a negative thing too, because not all the time. For instance, I'm not gonna use that example.
You should.
For instance, I'm not.
You shouldn't even say it. You might already say it now.
For instance, a man may be ready to start like a new journey in his life, and his friends are not where he is. They're not at the maturity level that he now is. Dealing with this woman or dealing with this, I don't know, vision that he has. His brothers, okay, they still want to go to the club, or they still want to spend their money on crap, or they don't have the vision to be an entrepreneur. Like, if we're putting it in different perspectives. So I think that can also be a negative thing if they're not on the same, like, they're not balanced.
It can be. You're right. And guess what? That brother now becomes a trailblazer. Right. He becomes he taking a path that not the other brothers took. So guess what we do as brothers? We gotta shut the fuck up. We gotta shut the fuck up and let him do his thing.
Follow or fall off.
We're not gonna be like, nah, nigga, what you do? No.
So do you guys think that that's the same? Like, it flows the same way in sisterhood?
I was just about to.
My bad.
No, go ahead.
Hell no. No.
I was gonna explain.
Hell to the fucking no. You know why?
Sisterhoods and brotherhoods, like.
You know why? Because they try to do the same thing we do. They try to compete. They always competing. They're competing. They don't. It's hard to find women who like each other. That's why I'm glad y'all around. That's why y'all just had a little quarrel right there. I'm just glad it went so well. I'm so happy. Normal, that shit is going south quick. Cause y'all are fucking venomous. Y'all be venomous towards each other. Y'all just be like,
I think it goes to maturity.
Right.
It's maturity.
Fuck that hoe. Fuck her. It be.
I'm gonna use this as an example. So, like, if two bros, this is my perspective of it. Two bros, they get into an argument, they gonna scrap it out. They could be rolling in the damn dirt outside, and next minute, bro, let's go get drinks. They gonna sweep it on the road.
Not
Women,
even that.
sisterhood, like, they gonna be like, oh, I don't talk to so-and-so no more.
They gonna put a business out.
So it's just like a mental thing. Oh, you talking to like that, you and the whole crew, or whatever the case may be, it can get real, like, emotional. Like, oh, you went to dinner with, like, they kind of be wanting you to be on, like, team. It's just the whole
I got something. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example.
Because it's more of emotional.
Two dudes. They hate each other. They fight. Next couple days, how about they find out they done smashed the same chick?
Right, Lord.
They best of friends. Two girls, they done fought. 2 days later, let them find out that they had sex with the same dude.
Forever.
Bro, they hate each other forever.
I think that goes back to kind of like what you
I knew it was going to go back.
Emotion. Men, like, for instance, men, when they go out and cheat, they're not cheating on emotion. Right. They're cheating off of just how they feel at the time, and they got to get their rocks off, right?
Sometimes, because sometimes they might be looking for something that they're not receiving, how you make them feel. So they're going to go with the person.
But I don't think it's emotion tied to it. Like, they can move from girl to girl or go back home and not have any hard feelings about it. But women, when a woman cheats, they're cheating with their heart. They're cheating from somewhere deeper than what men cheat on.
There's some anomalies.
Did you just take the topic to cheating?
No.
Okay,
I'm just putting it into perspective, like what he was saying. Like, that's why a woman would react different in that situation than a man would.
And I feel like there's healthy and there's toxic versions of sisterhoods and brotherhoods, because somewhere floating around in there needs to be some accountability. Because you can have a sisterhood and brotherhood, like, what happened in Vegas stays in Vegas, or you have the toxic sis that will be like, yeah, F that nigga, this and that and the third, instead of just saying, well, did y'all
drop off to go cheat?
You that And then dudes that be covering up for their bro, like you brought your whole mistress over here. Like,
I'm sorry, just real quick. I think you're speaking of girl code and sisterhood, guy code and brotherhood, and I think it's very different. I think it's very different.
Definitely different.
No, I think,
one is toxic.
And actually, I think too with women, and this is something I think I don't want to say it's just women. It's just as a woman, I can only see it from that lens. I feel like women, we tend to limit to one person. Like, I believe in compartmentalization.
Yes.
Everybody serves a purpose, and that way nobody gets on anybody's nerves. Right. I have, you got friends who you party with, friends who you talk about your personal ambitions.
Them where they are.
Right, right. And I think I think it is unhealthy to put too much on anybody, even in a relationship with the opposite partner. Like, I feel like there's a reason why you have to have healthy separation and have that community aspect that we're talking about. I think when you pour too heavy into one and you don't have enough balance for the other one, or the other one, I think it just gets too messy. Because I know for a fact I cannot be around all my friends for too long.
Quick time. No, I'm fucking with you. Now watch this. Let's offer solutions to sisterhood. How do we?
But real quick before we go into that, because that is the way you put that was very profound and very like nail on the head. For me though, I feel like what you were speaking of is more so friendship. Like sisterhood for me is like is so different than friendship. Like compartmentalizing. Yes. I think a sisterhood and someone that you consider to be in your sisterhood tribe is someone you can do all of those things with. You can have all those conversations with. They're there.
So friends are less than sisters?
I don't agree.
I would.
That's tough.
And I'm still testing that theory. I have friends that I've had for a long period of time. Friends I've had, me and you are very close, short period of time. And I think that, I haven't seen it yet, is what I'm saying. Like and between my own lens and others, I always see where it gets to a tipping point. Because I think that sometimes when you spend too much time around one person, you become too in tune with protecting their feelings. Then it starts to become inauthentic. And then once it becomes inauthentic and you start to get frustrated with the person, eventually you pop.
What makes it inauthentic? The fact that you seen they fake?
No. Well, when you are trying to protect somebody else's feelings, you become fake. You know what I'm saying? Because
that's a divine feminine trait.
Really?
That's nurturing.
You can care about someone's feelings. You're gonna speak truth, but you're gonna be. Sometimes you have to spoon feed. Like you have to meet them where they are because you care. That's the.
But that's not on them. That would be on you personally.
Because you care.
Yeah, that would be on you personally.
Because baby, it's a lot of times where me being the Capricorn that I am. People that I care about, I'm like, I'm not trying to say this, but I feel like you need to hear this. You have to know how to talk to people. What's the word that you like to use? And I keep forgetting it. Like
articulate
yourself. And that's just back to earlier today. I do apologize because I know me. I can get a little like, hold on, wait a minute, and we both have strong personalities. Right. So I do apologize for not being receptive or just taking the time to listen to how you were really feeling. I got offended because that's not my MO, but it's my responsibility to express how I really feel, and that's being a welcoming spirit, and then maybe I wasn't coming off as that.
And that's my you read my mind. Here it is. Everybody thought the same thing. You feel what I'm saying?
If it's a person that I don't give a hoot about,
right?
If you feel how you won't feel, because
I appreciate the apology.
And that goes on both ends. Like a ninja that ain't got nothing going on for himself and no ambition to do things that makes him the individual. Okay. I don't want you here.
You gotta let us know.
And that's any energy. Like, I don't want you around me because you're going to look to me to fulfill everything that you should be accountable for in your own life. That balance.
So you gonna have some friends?
You can have friends.
I said you gonna have some friends.
Right. And you can have your friends. Go with your bros. Like
no, you. Niggas always got bros.
No, that's not the case. And we got loners. Like, it was when I was married. me and my husband, we clicked. We were soulmates, so we enjoyed each other's company. But I knew it was balance. There needs to be half of that. Like I don't need to hang out with y'all all the time. Just like you don't need to be around me all the time. Go on with your people, folks. Whatever you did before I got here, enjoy that. Because I was with you because I valued who you were as a person. Polarities, opposites attract, right? So I don't want you to lose that. I want you to get better. Just like he was just like going with your cousins or whatever the case may be. I know that, you know, that's your tribe. You need that. Women need that and men need that as well. And you come together, it makes you a better person. You know how to be a better lover because you don't lose self.
You need to go last.
Can we
go last.
I got a question. This is the same thing. I thought we should even talk about the space that you find yourself in when you get to the point where you recognize like how she just said, I'm not in codependency. A lot of women, that's like big conversations that are happening now. I'm independent, I don't need, you know, or even if they're just saying like, I just like my space. Let's be honest, most women do not start that way. Like that's a learned action that comes from trauma. Mm-hmm. Like I know for me, I'm not ashamed to say it, for me specifically, I become so isolated and so self-dependent because I spent so much time getting rejected or bullied in the fact that I was so codependent. You have people who are emotionally immature and don't know how to deal with that, so they get annoyed by you and they make you feel like less, till eventually you build up a wall where you're just like, you know, I just don't need nobody. And I feel like for women who just speak that naturally, for all women across the board, I feel like that comes from more so trauma, because you have a lot of men who just don't know how to deal with the fact that it's not they don't have friends or anything, they just don't know how to operate in the, they're being abused in that space and they don't know how to operate in a space where they're with someone for the first time. You know what I'm saying?
Remember when we talked about masculine and feminine energy? I know you hate those terms, whatever. What I'm saying is, like, the negative or the toxic masculine energy is to be controlling. And women will be manipulative. But when you're with, but I'm just saying, if you're in a toxic space, you could be manipulative and a man can be controlling, or it could be flip-flop.
There we go.
It could be flip-flop, but it's not a good space to be in. Because guess what? They're going to take advantage of you and your weaknesses, right?
But wait a minute. I like to tag on to that. So this is very vulnerable for me. Me naturally, I am a natural, possessive, jealous type of person. And I don't mean jealous like, oh, you got a better car than me. It's more of territorial. Like, this is mine. Like,
it's not a bad thing.
You can't have this.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
Don't say jealous.
So, for me, in a relationship, in this relationship, my marriage, I've had to learn how to be able to allow him to have his time and me have my time. Like, that's a learned behavior. It's not something, for me, speaking to my situation only, that's a learned thing. Like, I don't always agree with that. Like, I feel like, okay, it's about us. Like, this is what we're doing. But it's a learned behavior, but I do feel like it does add balance. And a man needs that man time, a woman needs that girl time. So just going back to what you were saying, I agree with that, but I think it's a learned behavior.
Yeah. Let's apply that transparency and, you know, like being vulnerable. Like, no, that's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
Because that's where it goes back to accountability. Okay, I know I'm this way and this happened and that's why I'm this way, but a man, he's going to want to solve the problem. Like, he's going to get to the root of all of that, and he's going to, you're his inspiration, so you're going to inspire him to be the better, so you won't feel this way.
She had some bad experience with males, not men.
So it could be a male, or it could be childhood.
Remember what I said?
Childhood traumas. It could be a male or a childhood trauma. Either way you put it, it's a trauma, and that's the reaction to it. But if he loves her, or he respects her, and he's a provider and a caretaker, like, he's going to try to fix that issue. So he's gonna move differently. He might not.
But what are we talking about?
I'm tell you what we're talking about.
Here. What are we?
Your vulnerability, and you're saying, like, acknowledging, like, I am this, and I feel like that's not always a negative. Like, that's just who you are. Right. And you met your soulmate, so he knows how to balance that.
How we deal with motherfucking trauma? How we deal with trauma? Hold up. Can I put my thesis out there?
Yes, please do.
The way we deal with trauma, right, is we go back to the pain. You gotta agitate the pain to induce healing.
How?
Yeah.
Somebody specific.
Somebody
Can I do
fumble
it?
somewhere.
That's fine.
I do that
That's totally fine.
with a doctor. No, not with a
No,
doctor.
let's not do situational. Give me specific.
And it's deep because that is probably.
I'm saying one more time. In order to deal with trauma, you gotta go back to the pain. You gotta induce the fucking
Specific. Have you had trauma?
Yeah, of course.
Give me. Okay, there we go.
I'm not personalizing this shit at all. If you
Please.
thinking I'm gonna
But I'm
personalize
saying,
this
let's
shit.
get out of metaphysical.
What's wrong with that?
I need, as a woman, I do need some level of healing and understanding. So I'm asking you as a man. You don't have to give situations you don't want to give.
I'm gonna
But
give
give
you
me
in
something
general.
specific. Don't give me a what is it called, an analogy. I don't need all that. I need specifications.
I'm sorry.
For you, not
I'm gonna put it in a general statement because I'm not gonna
Well,
personalize
okay,
my
never
shit
mind.
on
Knock
this
yourself
show.
out. Knock yourself out.
We respect
I'm
it.
not gonna personalize my
And
shit
I
on this
respect
show
where you
because
come
I'm
from.
never a personal nigga on this. I'm gonna be general.
Worry about your motherfuckers.
Elaborate
Now it's
on your
there.
point.
In order to facilitate healing, you gotta agitate the pain.
Meaning?
You gotta go back to
That's
that fucking time when you was hurt and when you gotta deal with it. You gotta
In
suffer.
what shape or form? So talking about it or actually
It's different
experiencing it?
avenues. It's different.
I mean,
It's different avenues to deal with it. You can whatever what you say, talk about it. You can
It's like the iceberg thing. Like this is a product of something that's much deeper.
mhm.
So a lot of times anger is a production of sadness or feeling like you've been let down. And I'm portraying this because I'm hurt.
Mhm.
So we need to get to the bottom of the damn iceberg so we can get rid of the whole glacier. You know what I'm saying? So the Titanic can go through.
and one of the best ways, I ain't getting personal, but I'm gonna get a little personal. One of the best ways is to fucking forgive. Go back to that moment in time and forgive that fucking moment.
So do you think a person
Yes.
has to apologize in order for you to forgive
No,
that person?
it's all about you.
Is that-
At the end of the day, it's all about you. It's all about you. It's all about your fucking mental health, your emotional health.
You're not gonna always get closure.
You can forgive yourself. You can forgive yourself. You can forgive that person within yourself. Before that, it ain't even gotta be nothing outside of yourself. But you gotta go through the pain. You gotta go back and relive that motherfucking moment.
That's deep.
Okay,
Facts.
so let me ask this question. I'm just trying to get some understanding for myself. So I'm saying, like, I don't mind being gone. I love metaphysical. I don't identify with it because it's not
You
my.
think that's
it's not my
metaphysical?
real. It's just broad. I mean, it's plenty of people saying the same thing everywhere. I could look this stuff. I find somebody saying it. I'm saying, like, okay, so I'm a woman. I'm like dead serious. I'm speaking for people who are experiencing that. I'm a woman who, like I just gave the example, I struggle with connection because I was abused in codependency with a man. So I'm saying, as there's two men on this panel, so I'm saying, have you ever, or how do you deal with somebody like me? I come up to you, I want to date you. I come to you, I want to date you, and I am either beyond standoffish to where I'm not attached, or I'm overtly attached and I'm just showing affection, but it just feels overwhelming. Like, how do you respond to that? Because in most experiences,
Yeah,
I've had
be
men
patient.
who are not. But let's get realistic. In most situations, I have men who do not. Most women deal with men who do not know how to respond to that. They either go tell their boys, "Oh my gosh, she proud of me," or "I'm frustrated," blah 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 blah. Or on the flip side, you have the dudes who. What?
Okay, so this is where I go back to self-acknowledgement, and you have to heal yourself before you find what you actually need. And like, if you're not working on self, you're gonna always come up as this to a person. They're either going to be like a shark with blood, or you might get blessed to find a healer that's
Yeah,
gonna
I like
help
to
you
add
feel
to
that.
that.
But ultimately, you need to work on yourself.
Gotcha.
And that's why I feel like sometimes you find love when you're not looking for it.
And first of all, you shouldn't be dealing with a man if you're not
But
healed
wait a
at all.
minute.
Right.
Wait a minute.
You can attract bad things. Not everyone has good intentions. You know what I'm saying?
First of all, you shouldn't be dealing with a man if you're not healed yourself, right? So guess what?
That's
We-
bullshit.
we-
Or the process.
No, but I'm saying
You
that
can bullshit all you want
in
to.
reality.
This is why people
okay,
fuck up.
Hold on.
Right.
In reality, I'm gonna respond. In reality, most people who meet each other do not meet each other in the space of hearing. It's not that. Ooh, I think we get. I'm just saying, like, it's not that. It sounds nice. I love the fact that in today's society. In today's society, we have a lot of these conversations. I think it's beautiful. But I'm saying in reality, most people do not meet people. There's no such thing as being fully healed. When Ashley and her husband met each other, they didn't meet each other as like, oh, I'm just this whole healed person. They just so happened to meet each other and they were able to vibe well with each other. So I'm saying, like, for reality, I'm saying, like, yes, you do self-reflection. Yes, you do self-healing. If you weren't partially healed, we wouldn't be able to have relationships in any form or any capacity. So obviously there's some work being done there. However, I'm saying in the real world, when a man meets a woman and a woman meets a man, and they have some of those traumas, like codependency trauma, whatever, what do those conversations look like? And how do you as men deal with it when you run into a woman who's either one extreme or the other?
But sometimes it can be the opposite. Like, some men are codependent. And it's like a toxic thing. Like, you can't.
At the end of the day, somebody gotta be the motherfucker who facilitates the healing.
But that's what I'd like to say.
Somebody got to.
So it kind of goes back to
shit
how
don't work
it
out.
ties into relationships and sisterhood. So when you have an individual that's broken, mentally, physically, whatever you want to put it in, you almost need your tribe to help you with that healing. And sometimes we can shut people out because we don't understand. And sometimes we shut people out because of the simple fact that we just think, okay, they just having a moment. Like, the girl is crazy. But in actuality, have you asked the question? Have you initiated the conversation to that person's healing? So, to his point and also to your point, I think you have to be in the right space, in the right tribe in order to get that healing. And you have to ask the right questions. You have to have the right conversations, but also you have to understand that person in a deeper, aspect of what's just on the surface. Like,
and it has to be respect too. I just right. Because another thing too, when people, I learned this the hard way as well too. I feel like when especially with women, I feel like it has to be coming from somebody that you respect in that space. Because you do have women sometimes who are just like, I'm here, you're here, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, I've done it to people, and I think that it comes from the person being vulnerable enough to say, hey girl, look. And then another thing, it comes from a person who is also responsible enough to hold back and just wait for that moment to present itself. I think finger pointing is the one aspect of any relationship that becomes it makes it damn near impossible to be in. Even in
parenting. I think this topic aligns with mental health, and just something to add on to that. I'm one to think worst case scenario. So I need that friend. I need that person. Honestly, that's just me.
Something that you've been through.
Right. I agree.
You are the way you are for all the things that happen.
And in every situation, I find myself working myself up. Oh, well, why am I so worked up? Like, that's just me. You know what I'm saying? But I need that person to understand that characteristic and need to be able to bring me balance and to be able to bring me through that moment.
And respect. That respect is something I feel like it's undermined so much. It's necessary in personal relationships, friendships, and it's necessary in physical relationships. 100%. Women who dog out a man don't respect a man who dog women don't respect them.
And it's coming from hurt people, like
hurt people.
I don't even think it's hurt people. This is gonna sound very condescending, but sometimes when you just don't respect a person, it has nothing to do with my issue. It's just I don't respect you, so I just go over you naturally. You know what I'm saying?
But in today's time, people are naturally insensitive.
That is true.
Social media is a blanket for people. Like, people can say what they want to say. Social media allows people to say what they want to say and not be held accountable for it.
Right.
And I think that has created this whole just insensitive nature about people. Like, they just go about doing and saying what you want to say, but you're not held accountable for what you're saying. There's no conversation to what you're saying. You're just saying, like, this is what I feel, and you don't care about anybody else's opinion. You don't care about anybody else's perspective.
That freedom
and I
of
think
speech?
that is very negative.
Is that freedom of speech?
I feel like we all have to go.
Is that freedom of speech?
It's freedom of speech, but you also have to know when to use your freedom of speech, and you have to be able to articulate. Wait. You have to be able to articulate what you're saying in a manner in which who you're portraying it to or who you're expressing it to understand.
You gotta meet people where they are.
Exactly.
I think people should have a level of discernment eat the fish, spit
Not
out the fucking.
everybody don't have
This
it.
is what I'm saying. This is all I'm saying. Eat the fish, spit out the motherfucking bones. You shouldn't eat everything off the motherfucking plate.
True.
Cause everything ain't good for you.
Very true.
I feel
Period.
like we operate in different gifts. I feel like I'm a healer, so like we all have our life paths or whatever the case may be. No, I just feel like I had to experience the things that I went through to better heal other people because I'm a healer, right? So, like, I can take it. Like, it didn't break me. It almost broke me, but it didn't. And I feel better knowing that I can help other people, right? Because I'm a nurturer. Like, I'm a healer.
Yeah.
I feel like my life serves no purpose if I can't help the next person. And sometimes I can't even help myself, but I can always help the next person. And like you need people around you that's going to, they notice your cup getting low. You know what I'm saying? And you have to know how to, it takes going through an experience to know how to care for yourself.
Yeah.
And I've experienced that. I spent a lot of hours, a lot of days, a lot of years secluding myself. I had to get through that to get to where I am now. And I have a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge on things. And I realized, like, you have to be able to articulate.
Yeah.
But I don't have the answer to all things, but I know I have my tribe. I know who I am.
Right.
And that's the first level of balance. Like, you have to know who you are. You have to heal yourself. Just like the other day, like I was having a moment, you know, everything was going to shit. Like, everything was going wrong. And I'm naturally the type of person that will seclude myself and shut everything. I've spent almost 11 years doing that. That's a whole nother story. But I had to go through that to get to where I am. Ashley is younger than me, but she knew how to speak to my inner being. Like, push my pride aside. She showed up. And she had the perfect answer for everything. And there's going to be times where I've experienced things that she didn't even know I experienced, and I can kind of help her. And we have like this sisterhood. Like, I promise you, it's not the Taylor Court. This shit is real. Like,
I got it.
it's real. And once sometimes you have to let people experience some shit because you're not going to be able to articulate things to their soul that they just have to experience. You go through some shit, you come back to me and then we can have a conversation about it. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like we have givers and takers in this world. You're going to go through different phases. Like, you may be going through a phase where you need to be a taker. And to the wrong person, it's going to feel like you're being selfish. But no, you spent the phase being a giver and you were taken advantage of.
Can I make a statement or a question? Whatever. Cause it sounds like you went in that cave, right? I always call it the cave.
Yeah,
I call it the cave.
Dark ass place, but sometimes you gotta go through that.
I call it the cave.
You
When
have to have darkness to get to the light.
Yes, I call it the cave. You gotta go in there. You gotta shut everything off. All things off. I'm telling you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So in conclusion, we do see some type of sisterhood being projected. We do see some type of brotherhood being projected.
Y'all biological.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
My closing statement from when I took from this conversation is a PSA for men. Okay, there are a lot of great women out there. No, I mean, this is actually not condescending whatsoever. There are a lot of great women out there. There are a lot of unique spirits. I think that it comes with a level of emotional maturity. I'm not saying that men are immature. I'm just saying that sometimes what you picture as your package might have some holes in it, and you have to be emotionally mature enough to understand the person that you're dealing with. Because a lot of times men bypass it and they move so fast trying to find whatever it is that they have manifested in their mind that they just skate past so many opportunities. So as a woman who I feel is a great catch myself, who also struggles with a lot of things. A lot of single mothers experience. I just say that, you know, we all have to do better at understanding the opposite person. That's it. And when I get my man, I'm bringing him on the show. I'm like, hey y'all, this is Willie.
Key to this opposite person, like that could be weighted upon women too. A lot of times you are so used to being indoctrinated, oh, this is what you need, this and a third, but you miss out on your blessing because you expected it to look a certain way and you're not healed yourself. So you're looking through life with a different lens from like a hurt place.
So I think in a nutshell, I'm sorry I didn't skip you. I'm so sorry. I think in a nutshell, I can say this and go back to you and then you, is to just keep an open mind and to always think about how you can serve the next person and how you can impact the next person. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
You alright with me. My conclusion is, men, be honest with your mother self. Be honest with yourself. Know yourself. Know your worth. Same with women. Know yourself. Know your worth. Don't settle for shit at all. Don't compromise none of your shit for nobody at all. If they not subscribing to your shit, let them loose. Especially a man, because you a leader. We went through the attributes of a motherfucking masculine man. Be a leader, man. Hey, if they don't subscribe to your shit, but you gotta first subscribe to your own shit. So whatever you say, whatever you do, you walk with integrity, you walk with discipline, and you walk with honor. Don't compromise that shit for nothing. You'll be alright.
Wait. I'm sorry. I know I already went, but one more thing. Ladies, don't get caught up in the potential of a man. See a man for who he is at the moment. If you can invest in him, invest in him.
Right.
But don't spend too much time or don't give heart to something or give yourself deeper than what you should because of the potential of a man. Go ahead.
It's your boy Teddy B. Teddy B's make it look easy. Check me out.
It's the condescending smile.
Closing statement. Be yourself, man. Stay strong. Be easy. If you got a significant other, listen to her. Listen to him. Y'all bond together and make something happen that both of y'all can work with. This is Candid Coaching.
Hold on, one more.
Wow!
Nat, why you making this? It's a strong vein in the neck for me. Oh my God. Yo,
Hey,
no,
she
like,
like that.
no,
She like that.
hold on. There's this TikTok going around this man and the judge didn't give him the thing that he wanted and he was and he just kept staring at her. I'm like, bro, I could be you right now. Okay. No, I'm just saying that. Another thing too. I was watching Love is Blind, make this fast. And there's a couple in there. It's a black couple. One is Nigerian, one is like a mixed girl. Anyway, the mixed girl is very high maintenance. A lot of men on the show said that they probably couldn't deal with her, but she's beautiful, well kept, good regimen, good head on her shoulders, yada yada. Slowly, as they've been spending time around each other, the